I'd like to call the regular scheduled meeting of the President and Board of Trustees of Village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will County, Illinois, being held on Tuesday, June 4th, 2024, beginning at 6:13 p.m. Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Brennan?
Present.
Trustee Mahoney?
Present.
Trustee Mueller?
Here.
Trustee Shaw?
Present.
Trustee Sullivan? Here. President Glass?
Present. Thank you. Item number 1, is there a motion to consider approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any questions for item number 1? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 1, Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you. Item number 2, can I have a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the regular village board meeting held on May 21st, 2024?
So moved.
I will second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Roll call for item 2, Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you. Item number 3, I'd like to go through this, and then what we'll do, we'll have the coach come up. First, we'll do the agenda item. We'll have the coach come up and,
Conductor.
I'm sorry,
Sorry.
sorry.
Conductor, I said.
And call everyone up one by one, and then we'd like to have the band take a photo of themselves together. And then if they'd like to take photos with their parents, everyone could just step aside and take a photo. So we'll do a group photo, and we'll just do them one by one. Item 3, can I have a motion to consider recognizing the Victor J. Andrew High School Percussion Group for winning a gold medal and crown the 2024 winner Guard International WGI Percussion World Champions in open class?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. The T-Bolts competed against 43 other ensembles over the course of 3 days in the Scholastic Open Class. A total of 36 members performed their 2024 program entitled Shelter. Congratulations to the Victor J. Andrew High School Percussion Group. If you could, we'll do one by one at the front. That'd be great. And then we'll just take a picture.
Okay. It's amazing. Oh. Cool things going on tonight.
You also want to read their names? Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Abby Akers. Abby Kunikoff. Adam Baranek. Aiden Littleton. Alexis Renero. Ana Bellarmicio. Loki Evans. Loki. Carter Vogt. Dave Fernero. Eric Peterson. Aaron Zemetic. Gian Topo. Jack Randall.
James Lee. Jesse Nelson. Juliana Kuniko. Katrina Aaron. Kiana Voicechild. First time I said it last. Lucy Schweider. Maria Kavrilakis. Paula Marin. Sophia Loftus. Tommy Ryson. Vinny Maxamo. Zach LaChance. And then Anna Zemeckis.
We should, well, have, if we do a group picture, have some go behind the dais there, and then have 2 rows. Yeah, you can go line up behind it. 2 rows.
Anybody wanting to take pictures, please, you're welcome to come on up.
Yep. Oh, you wanna go ahead?
Guys ready?
One by one, your parents could all come up and get the same shots of that looking the wrong way. Sorry.
It's low. Forward and flat.
Spot right there.
2 more. 3 more. So if anyone would like to take a picture with their family, feel free to go ahead before you guys depart. Congratulations.
Well, I'd like to make an announcement, Mr. Conductor, okay? When you guys win next year, come marching in with the drums.
Hey, is the performance available online for anyone to view? That we could possibly put it on the village website? Okay. Maybe with Donna? Let me see. I asked him if there's a link to the performance, so if we share the group pic and then we can share the performance. I don't know who he's been in touch with. Oh, Laura Gadet.
I can send it to her.
Okay, yeah, that's Laura, our one of our deputy president. Thank you. Okay. Okay. All right.
It doesn't cross. I can see if it crosses. One without Zach.
I apologize. I love you, Dave.
I'm gonna take over the meeting.
Uh-oh, where's my red?
Thank you, everybody.
Playing the drums walking in would be great.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll for item number 3?
Roll call for item 3, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
My computer's froze. Next, we have item number 4, which I don't think anyone in this room achieved this score, other than one. I'd like to ask the board to please consider recognizing Celia Lindocken for achieving a perfect score on her ACT exam.
I'll second, or I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Out third.
Celia, a resident of Tinley Park and a student at Marist High School, earned a perfect score of 36 on her ACT exam in February. Approximately 0.25% of test takers earn a perfect score, and Celia was the only student in Marist class of 2025 to earn that score. I'd like to congratulate Celia and present you with this recognition and your coach. Hey, Bill.
Oh, on the board?
Congratulations.
Great work.
Donna can take a picture with you.
Try to go in the picture? Absolutely. Where'd you go in at? I could take a camera. One more. Got it. Go on. One second here. Got it. Thank you very much.
Where you going to school?
She's a senior. She's going into her senior year this year. She also, with the wasn't in there, she won an award, so she has her entire senior year paid for because of her excellence in mathematics.
Wow.
That's brag on there too.
They're like, thank you.
Good work. So excited. Thanks.
Thank you.
And we're not. Congratulations.
So I did learn that Mr. Brady got a 36 as well, but back then it was out of 100, so it wasn't quite the accomplishment. But nevertheless, great work, Bill.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for item number 4?
Roll call for item 4, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 5. I'd like to ask the board to consider appointing T.J. Grady as Commissioner to the Civil Service Commission for fiscal year 2025.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Thank you. Again, just asking you to consider appointing T.J. to the commission. Is there any questions?
Pretty good addition.
He is, great addition.
Absolutely agree.
He is. Everhart's happy. Can I have a, Madam Clerk, you please call the roll?
Roll call for item 5, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 6. We have a motion to consider the approval of the consent agenda items.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Consent agenda items have been publicly posted and available for review on the agenda for this meeting. Would anyone from the board like any of these items removed from the consent agenda? Let the record reflect there are none. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Roll call for item 6, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 7, trustee Dennis Mahoney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move we consider ordinance 2024-0-025, granting Shua Wang of Health Spa a special use to operate a massage establishment at 171 to 988th Avenue.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Go ahead, Dennis.
Okay. The petitioner seeks a special use permit to operate a massage establishment use within the B1 Neighborhood Shopping Zoning District. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on May 2nd of 2024 and voted 6-1 to recommend approval based on the listed plans, recommended conditions, and drafted findings of fact in the staff report. This ordinance is eligible for first reading.
Thank you, Dennis. Is there, so it's first reading, so it's really not open to the public, because there was one no vote from the Plan Commission. Is there any comments from the board?
I'll just say that I'm okay with this one, and I think the owner going through the background check and the one employee, new employees will go through the background check as well. So I think this is the first time we've seen this since we've made this a special use, so I'm good with the way this one stands.
Thanks. Anyone else? Trustee Shaw, do you have something?
I did. I think I'll reserve the majority of my comments for second reading. I will just say I myself am not comfortable with this. I'm not compelled by the information presented as for the standards for special use. I just don't think it's consistent with the community, and it being a special use, I don't feel compelled that we need to approve it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to comment on item number 7? No, so normally this is a first reading. It's not open for public comment, but for the petitioner, the board can ask the petitioner questions. So I had some questions for the petitioner I'd like to do now instead of wait until second reading. Is Ms. Wang, the petitioner? Can I?
She's right here, I'm her translator.
Okay. You switch translators from the Plan Commission?
Pardon me?
You switching translators from the Plan Commission?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Well, he was the translator last time, so.
Oh,
So you're just
I'm
switching.
not aware, sorry.
Okay. So one of the questions I had what do you plan on charging for a massage? How many clients do you think you'll have per day if you're only going to have one massage room even operable?
他说想问你，你知不知道你每天你收多少钱？就是来做按摩，你收多少费？然后你大概知道有多少每天有多少客人？如果只有一个房间可以用的话，你觉得一天能够赚多少钱？你收费是多少？收费是
Excuse me.
It's 70?
Before she responds to you, would you mind, could you speak into the microphone so the translator that we have
Sure.
can confirm everything that's being said before the next meeting? Go ahead.
Okay, she said $70 per hour.
70 per hour. And how many do you think clients you think you're going to be having per day for just one
每
room?
天有多少客人？因为你只有一个房间，每天会有多少客人？四五个。
About 4 or 5 persons per day.
So 4 or 5 people for the whole day, being open from,
现在生意不好。
what were the hours? 10 a.m. till 9 p.m.?
Business is tough.
So you'll be open 11 hours for 4 clients possibly per day?
每天11个小时，你觉得就是4到5个客人吗？现在生意不好。
Yeah, it's very tough to do business these days.
Okay. Are you going to be doing them yourself since there's only one massage person going to be there? Who will be doing
是
it?
你自己提供按摩服务吗？
No, it will not be me. It'll be someone that I hire.
Someone hired? Okay. have you ever been licensed for massages in state
你有-
of Illinois or anywhere else?
你在一州有执照吗？或者在其他州有执照吗？
我很快就会拿到执照的。
I do not have a license myself.
Okay. Do we know who the person that's going to be doing them is yet? And have they gone through a background check?
你现在知道是谁是你的按摩师吗？他有没有经过背景调查？
知道。
Yes, I do. I
Okay.
do know this person.
Have they applied or are they already licensed? Have they been through a background check?
通过了。
Yes, she has a license and her background check has passed.
Okay. Do you know what you'll be doing, what are you going to be doing with the other 2 rooms then? That will be just vacant? You're just going to have 1 room for the whole place?
这里边还有2个房间，那2个房间会空着吗？
他在装东西，等以后等着就是生意好的时候会招多的按摩师。
Right now, they're used for storage purpose. If business is going well, then I may hire more therapists to expand the business.
What would you be storing in the rooms when it's just a massage parlor?
里边现在放的是什么东西？
放的就是店里的，就是装的拉马线儿的东西。
They're just odds and ends from what the business needs right now.
Okay. Sorry you weren't at the Plan Commission, but one of the Plan Commissioners, Commissioner Hamilton, asked her a question. The translator answered for her that she would be traveling, that Ms. Wang would be traveling, or Wang, from Mrs. Wang would be traveling back to China and wanted to give the business to her friend. Ms. Huang said she was going to China to do business. Will she be returning?
他说上次你们听证会的时候说的是你要回中国，然后这个生意会让给别人，应该是前面那个他要回中国，然后你接手是吧？
对对。
Oh, I think there might have been a misunderstanding. It was the previous owner who's going back to China, and that's why it's transferring to Ms. Wang.
That's what I said. The previous owner, Ms.
Okay.
Wang, said that she was traveling back to China, therefore she wanted to just hand the business to her. That's why I'm asking, does she plan on coming back?
他问你前面那个主任他要回来吗？ I think she's right here, so maybe she can answer. 他问的问题是你要回中国去，然后你还会回来吗？
回来呀。
She said she will be back.
So she's gonna be back. To be honest with you, I don't quite understand this whole procedural move. If she's just going there and coming back, that we have to give it to someone else, to just hand over a business to someone. We've already had problems at that location in the past. I would not be supportive of this receiving a special use.
你的孩子要出生，你自己的孩子，你要生孩子。
因为我们都代孕，要出生，不要照顾孩子。
你是你孩子的孩子，
不
要
是孩子。
My baby，
你刚生了孩子，
还没生呢。
还没生，
你
我
要
代孕
生孩子。
So,
代孕生
Ms.
孩
Murphy,
子。
I would just like to reiterate what I said earlier.
Go ahead.
That this especially being a special use, we're under no obligation. It's not by right zoning, it's a special use. And I'm just simply not comfortable with the nature of the business establishment. In general, I'm not in favor of this as a special use here, and particularly the information that was presented at the Plan Commission meeting and in the report here as the basis for meeting the standards for special use. I just simply don't think it meets the bar. So I'm not in favor of this.
Thanks, trustee Shaw. And again, like she just stated that she's coming back. So I don't understand this whole
Because my
procedural
baby
move that
born,
if she's,
because in Chinese New Year, I say I back to China, then come back. Because I want back to China 2 more months. Then I want my friend get the business. Then my baby born too. I want to take care of my baby. My baby October born.
okay. I said again, if she's just going to China and coming back, it's not like she can't just run the business for her for the month or 2 that she's gone. So, like I said, if anyone else doesn't have any other comment, I would not be in favor of granting. This is the reason that the special use is in play, and I think it fits. So basically, it'll be up to you guys. If anyone else from the board have any other comment before I call the roll?
Well, I'd have to agree with you that if they're just, going on vacation, you might say, going back to China and coming back, the business would still be here. Why does it have to be transferred to another person? I mean, a lot of businesses take vacations, but they don't make the whole big change. Why is that necessary?
Can you guys answer that question? Why?
他问你为什么可以？为什么就是说你只是回去短期的回去，为什么要换业绩？
因为我的 baby 我都跟你说了，我的孩子要出生了，10月份要出生了，我要照顾孩子啊。
那你为什么不是就是把这个 business 就转让出去？
我是转让给他，
但是你又说你还要回来，
但是我要回来，我要去中国了，还要回来。
回来又接手这个生意吗？
我帮他，但是因为我的孩子没有当，我要 take care 孩子啊。
Oh, I think she meant that she's not gonna come back and take over the business again.
Okay.
I think the question earlier was, is she gonna come back? She said, yes, I'm coming back, but I guess she's not saying she's coming back and take over the business again.
So in essence, she's selling the business to her friend.
She's not. She said on the record that she's giving it to her.
Oh,
She never said that she was
就
selling
是
it on the public
直接给
record.
他的生意，
Correct,
但是
Dan?
不是转让，没有
Hey,
转
Dan?
让费。
Is that correct?
没有，no，
I'd have to go back and check.
because she's my friend.
Oh,
Either way.
she said they're just good friends, and then she's just giving her the business.
Sorry. Okay, so now she's just giving her the business. She's not selling it to her, she's giving it to her. If there isn't any other comments, we could call the roll if you'd like. Anyone else? Let the record reflect there are none. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for item 7 for the granting a special use?
Roll call for item 7, trustee Brady?
no.
Trustee Brennan?
No.
Trustee Mahoney?
No.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
No.
Trustee Sullivan?
No.
So that motion fails. So Dan, do you want to explain just briefly what it means? Just
Yeah, I mean, it basically ends here unless they have a substantial change to what they're proposing, then they can go back to plan commission. But there'd have to be a substantial change
and
to
it stays
reapply.
as the current owner.
Yeah.
Okay.
他就是没有通过，只有一个人是支持的，其他人都是反对的。就是如果有特别，就是说有特别大的变化的话，才能再重新再议。但是到目前的话，就只能是就是没有通过，因为他说本身这个不是一个这个是一个商业区作为一个特殊的用途，他可以
So
可以不给。
what she could do if she'd like to call Dan, if there's any other changes, Dan Ritter. Other than that, the request for the special use was denied. So they'll have to contact Dan Ritter if they would like to resubmit if there's other changes, but, so,
We can
thank
talk,
you.
we can reach out to you, or if you want to go to Jason or Lori as well that you've been working with, we can talk with you tomorrow.
别的变化的话，可以再。
So then this item is over. Next, we have item number 8, trustee Mahoney.
Thank you. I move we consider adopting ordinance 2024-0-020, granting a special use permit for Tinley Court SLP Realty LLC for a supportive living facility at 16301 Brementown Road.
Second that?
Go ahead, Dennis.
Thank you. The petitioner is seeking a special use permit for the Concord Elderly Housing to operate a supportive living facility in the R6 zoning district. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on April 4th of 2024 and voted 7-0 to recommend approval for the special use with the recommended conditions, plans, and findings of fact in this report. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Dennis. Is there, before we start discussing this, is there anything, Dan, that you want to add, or no? No?
Not particularly.
Petitioner, is there anything that you would like to add before we discuss it?
I just heard I wasn't here last time, there were a few questions, suggested I attend this
Yeah,
meeting.
would you mind?
Oh.
Thanks.
Evening. My name is Ari Haas on behalf of the petitioner. So I attended the, I guess, the Plan Commission meeting and all of those details. I understood it has to come here for a vote. It was here once before, a month or 6 weeks ago. Apparently there was some questions for follow-up, and I was not in attendance. Mike Whalen suggested I show up, so I'm here to answer if there's any questions, concerns, comments.
Great, thanks. Before I ask mine, anyone from the board have any questions?
I have one question. I know it's being changed from a congregate elderly housing to a supportive living facility. Is it still for seniors?
Yes, absolutely.
I just wanted to
Yeah,
confirm
the
that
fundamental
word
nature of the
that-
business is pretty much the same. It's essentially how people get funding to be able to afford it, certain changes in in services that we provide, let's say medication management. It's very nuanced differences. Within the broader sense of the business is pretty much the same. There's generally 3 categories in senior housing: independent, assisted, and nursing home. So we're between the first two, essentially. Beforehand, it was firmly in the first. What we're doing is a little more towards the second.
Excuse me, sir. Officer King, could you ask him to keep it down in there?
Sure, I could speak up as
Go
well.
ahead. That's not you, it's
No, sure.
from the vestibule. Go ahead.
Yeah, so again, just the long answer to your short question was essentially the business does remain the same. There is a 65 and older requirement that the state of Illinois requires we put in place, which was not in place prior. However, they did grant a waiver. I think there were 3, maybe 4 residents that were, I would say 1 was 62. They were underage, we got the waiver, they didn't have to move, so otherwise everything is the same.
Okay, and then, I know I don't know if I'm using the correct terminology here, that you're partnering with Illinois Health and Family Services. Are they the primary, how the funding gets, how you get your payment? Is it 100% now through the state?
No, definitely not 100%, but what HFS, Health and Family Services, it's a state agency in Illinois that would provide additional, we'll call it rental assistance for simplicity, for many of the residents that can't afford the full private pay fare. So it's kind of like a scholarship. If you can afford it, you pay, and it's a sliding scale, and what you can't afford, the state will kick in the difference.
Okay. I think that's really why I wanted to know, I like to see seniors getting assistance, I think.
Yeah,
you
this
know,
is a really big one. I mean, this
That's why
one.
I wanna make sure
Yeah, even
seniors,
before we
so-
came into this one, we had about an 8-month process with the state, to make sure this building was eligible, the program meets their requirements in order for them to provide the funding. And for Tinley, for this building in particular, a lot of residents were affording it, but like just barely. That's why the previous owner, was only 50% occupied. A lot of people, they'd get a few $100s a month from relatives, a few hundred from this aid. It was a collection, and what this does, it brings it all under one umbrella. So it should be able to sustain seniors as long as they don't win the lottery. It's that same. If they win the lottery, they can afford to pay. So.
Okay, and then, I watched the entire Plan Commission. You explained a lot of things pretty well there. I forget it's been a while since since
No,
I
sure.
watched that meeting. But I forget what the occupancy rate was at that time and what is it now? I know you're going under intense renovations there.
Yeah.
So I know, like, I believe it's half of it right now is not
Exactly.
being used. And so is there a waiting list? What is your occupancy looking like for the future? Is there a
Sure.
way to kind of?
I'll
let
be
us
happy
know
to
where
share
it's at?
that, absolutely. So we've maintained occupancy just about exactly 50% of the building, because as we're working on one side, residents are on the other side. So it's right now, as of this afternoon, I think it was 55 in-house. It's about 110 units. Once the renovation is fully complete, I know we have about 10 to 20 people on the active wait list that should be moving in shortly. And, I mean, we do anticipate when all is said and done, it could take 6 months, maybe up to 12 months, but we anticipate getting this building back to where it was 5 years ago and more, where it maintained 95% occupancy. So we're looking forward to that.
All right. That's all I got.
Anyone else?
Colleen?
Yeah, so I just had really less of a question. I am more of a statement here. My concern in any senior housing, we've had some other developments in town. We don't need to go into details, but there's been some challenges in there in that the conditions have not been maintained, and the costs of living there have increased and while the standards have gone down. I don't actually see anything in what you've proposed or what was discussed at the Plan Commission meeting that truly gives me cause for concern there. I do believe that businesses should have a business model that makes a profit. The nature of the business that this is in is more highly sensitive. And so again, I don't necessarily see anything in particular that I could highlight that's a specific concern for me. I just wanted to voice the importance of that, and if you had any commentary on it, I'd love to hear.
Sure, I'd be happy to speak to that. And what you're describing is exactly what happened with the previous owner. Probably had he not been as capable, probably would have shut down 2 or 3 years ago. Because COVID, I mean, it's just straight now. You can see their occupancy chart. It took a directive for 20 years. They were at 95%, and then they tanked down to 50. And you could see the cycle. It's a cycle of doom. There's less revenue, so you spend less. Customers come in, they can tell right away something is off. Well, we'll go to the other place, and you keep going downhill. Once we took over, effectively, our renovation is going to have the building, it's going to be brand new, top to bottom, inside and out. I mean, some of this stuff, I don't like to put other people under the bus. Like I said, the previous operator did the best they could and dragged it for an extra few years. 30% of the rooms, for example, the wiring, it was essentially like extension cords. They had corroded, the old stuff. At the end, things that we were not expecting or anticipating. That's why we have a big contingency, line in our estimates. But every room, brand new electric coming in, new HVAC systems throughout, new roof. We're redoing the parking lot. We're spending almost twice as much in renovations as what we bought the building for. So hopefully that gives you an idea of our commitment to the project. And essentially, when we have, like you said, it's a business, we'll have a brand new item, brand new product, we're going to want to take care of it. So, and we have other buildings. We operate Moraine Court up in Bridgeview. We have a few others clustered in Chicagoland. Be happy to share any of that info. They all speak for themselves. And at any time, you guys are welcome to go in there. I mean, I was just there again this afternoon. I mean, the improvements, tremendous. I don't know if you guys have the before image. I'll be happy to provide a picture or two, but I think you'll be very pleased with what we have there now.
I had been in the facility.
Oh, yeah?
Probably maybe 5 or 6 years ago. We used to visit some folks in there.
Nice.
And I can attest to what you're saying about the conditions, while not being squalid, I mean, they were going down. So I appreciate the investment.
Thank you.
I was wondering, how many nursing staff do you have on staff now during the day without this agenda item?
So nursing specific, prior to this program, it was a collection of visiting nurses from other agencies, so we wouldn't have had control on that. Now that we have it in-house, If there would be 100 people, or you're saying it based on the 50 residents? You're talking actual or what we project?
What do you, well, you said you're at 50% occupancy, so how many?
Correct.
At this current time with half being empty, how many?
So you probably have about 6 in the nursing department on a day shift, and that would include, in addition to the dietary staff, maintenance, housekeeping, administration, everything that was in place before. And for the nighttime, it goes down to about 4. So I'd say it's about 654 for the nursing specific. So on a busy day, it'll get to a 10-to-1 ratio, nurse per resident, and the nighttime it tails off. These are mostly high-functioning seniors. This is not nursing home level of care. It's more what we call standby ADLs, assistants with daily living. So the staffing is not intensive in that way. We definitely have the medication program. I would say that's probably the most, I use the word intensive. That's where you tend to have the biggest issues when residents do that on their own. So that's one of the services we provide through the nurses station. So, yeah.
If you were at 95% occupancy, would that number then double for the day and the night shift?
Yeah, it's definitely a ratio based on occupancy, so it'll increase with people. At full occupancy, we anticipate about 40 to 45 full-time equivalency jobs.
Okay. Do you know roughly how many people have left since, so you're down to 50% occupancy, that was one of the questions I was gonna ask that Trustee Sullivan asked. Do you know how many people have left since you guys increased the rent?
I don't have that exact number, but the total occupancy is about the same. When we bought the building, there were about, I think, 50-something% as well.
Okay.
So we've maintained essentially what was there, and we've held off moving new people in while we renovated one side and then flipping the others. There were a few people that'll move out, either that the new program doesn't fit for them. I know there was definitely there's a program, there was a one-on-one with each resident that was existing. There's always a few that don't like change. But I believe we did overall a pretty good job accommodating and trying to meet everyone's needs.
The other question I had was, because obviously we know the residents. We used to visit when a resident, Tim Janicek, village manager Pat Carr, clerk Nancy O'Connor, myself and the board, we ran a program for the seniors during COVID where we were delivering, we were running prescriptions for them. We had great residents that were volunteering. We were running out getting their prescriptions. Nancy ran the whole phone banking, and it was amazing the people we got to see. I was in that particular building several times. I had several people that I had to deliver.
That's nice.
They tell you one wants waffles. You get them waffles, and we didn't want those waffles. We wanted, okay, so then you would.
Well,
you would
welcome
just
to my world.
You would just throw it out, and then you would go get them another one. So I know that building really well, and I know some of them have been telling me they had to leave because of the rent was increased. One said that they were paying $2,350. I know it's not part of the special use.
Sure,
I'm just saying, just for general knowledge. One of them contacted me and they had to move to the place, what's the place called on Harlem?
Hanover?
They had to move to Hanover. The rent was $2,350. And the rent got increased to $5,400, but they really weren't getting any extra services yet because this item wasn't passed. So that's a concern for me, that someone would say that they're, again, like Trustee Shaw said, you have to make money, you put a lot of money into it, but to go from $2,350 to $5,400, it's a pretty steep increase, so I don't
I could
know the
definitely
math.
look into that, but I know the programming that I mentioned with Medicaid funding, with the sliding scale, there's nobody that would get turned away if they couldn't afford. And the name that you mentioned, I don't know
I
offhand.
didn't mention a name.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought
Yeah, I
you meant.
wouldn't mention their name.
I think when you said Tim Janis, I think you.
Oh, Tim was
okay,
one of the ones
maybe.
helping us with all the phone banking.
I
to
got
help
you,
the
I got you. Maybe I
residents.
misunderstood that. Yes, no, definitely.
Resident in Tinley, not your.
Correct, I got you. But definitely, if a resident was in a situation that can't afford the rent, if they only have $2,300, that would be perfect situation where they would be eligible, and the state of Illinois would cover any rent shortfalls. Could be some people do move out. Hanover Place is a more, from what I understand, independent living, more senior apartments, and this person that moved out maybe was not a good fit for the higher level of care we're bringing in.
Yeah, they
I can
didn't-
check any
It
specific
wasn't
names.
covered by Medicare, they said, so they had to pay the whole 5,400 and they went right to Hanover. So just.
I'll be happy to check one out. Can I email you and get that more
No, it's- I'm
information?
just making a general
Oh,
comment
okay.
because it's not part of the special use
Oh, I
or
see.
zoning relief you're requesting.
Gotcha.
This is a general statement that some people have reached out to me that we got to know through.
Yeah, look,
COVID.
for those that
Yeah.
have lived there, it's definitely a change, without a doubt. I mean, a lot of them would have liked everything to stay exactly the same as is, even though dilapidated, heading down, maybe would have closed. But I think we're trying our best. I think we did pretty good, but if, like I said, if there are specific individuals, I know we're doing what we can to accommodate, but if there are those that you feel did not get a fair shake, I'll be happy to take
It's
further
not
look
about
at it.
fair. It's not about right or wrong.
Okay.
I'm just telling you what was brought
Fair
to
enough,
my
fair enough, received.
attention on that.
Thank you.
And then, I'm not quite sure what that level means. I know there was something in there with the plan commission about, giving some type of leniency on landscaping. I'm not sure how much less that was requested of relief of landscaping because of cost. But I know if there's gonna be seniors and they're gonna be in there, they're gonna sit in the courtyard, they wanna have nice, nice landscaping, nice loud cicadas.
I think you're gonna love the final product, what we did.
Okay, so, I'm not quite sure what that meant. I know there was something in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're well over and above. I'm not sure from new construction, but considering what was, I mean, this is gonna be a 10 times improvement. I mean, it's pretty nice now, it's just very plain. And a lot of the problems that we had was standing water with we have a lot of lawns, like, that building is all one story, so we're spread out over a bunch of acres. The front area in particular, I know recently, I mean, it was a big ticket item, well into the 6 figures, just to drain, just to keep the grass from becoming a mud.
When I delivered, I was never able to make a straight path through the sidewalk because there was a lot of standing water.
It's dipping
I
water,
had to pitch
exactly.
left, go right,
Yep,
left.
yep.
So I get it.
I'm glad you know the property. This is,
I do.
you guys don't just sit up there at the perch, it's.
And then, one of the other concerns I had too is if, I'm afraid that this is gonna have a huge impact on our first responders as far as fire and police calls, if this thing ramps up and you get to 100% capacity. With this model, to me, from what I've looked up, it looks like there's, what the business model would be, to me, it looks like there'd be a lot of increased ambulance calls. So that's a real big concern for me, so. Trustee Brennan?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the property as well.
Nice.
My first job was dishwasher there.
No kidding.
That's why they got sick.
But and I understand, the increased rents and whatnot. The property is obviously in very poor shape right now, so certainly understand, with everything going up right now, it's certainly understandable to see some of that, and I'm happy to see that you guys are, breathing some fresh life into that building, because
Thank you.
it does have a long history. So my only question for you is there any current IDPH complaints at your other facilities right now that haven't been resolved? Is there anything that you know of that that are?
I could say definitively no.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I mean, we, just to elaborate what IDPH, we also have our regular annual surveys. All of our buildings are overseen on a regular basis by state of Illinois. So if there was any deeper concern, those would definitely come out. So this is, definitely a very good question. We get continuous oversight in our program now that this building didn't have from the Illinois agency, from HFS. So I just wanted to correct, not IDPH.
Okay.
But it's essentially Springfield, same idea.
Sure.
Can I make a quick comment just on the ambulance concern for the mayor? I mean, again, I don't have facts and figures, but just from my own experience, and I was actually at this building from previous, back in the early 2000s, the nature of the business pre-COVID is not, the customer base is almost identical to the customer base we're going to have going forward. What changes really is their pay, is the nature of how are they paying, what kind of rent subsidies, how are they getting those benefits out of Medicare, Medicaid if needed. But back then, there used to be a wing in the back, a 24-hour care wing with about 30 residents, and that was probably close to nursing home care, which is more than what we're going to have now. So I don't know. I don't have all the numbers, but I think maybe a 10% uptick would be reasonable, but I don't think it'll be a dramatic amount. So just my insight.
There were a few concerns outlined on a few reviews from Moraine Court. You know, bed bugs and, you know, residents complaining of sitting in urine and whatnot. How did you, I mean, how was specifically the bed bugs?
Is this recent? I know from about 5
3
plus
months
years
ago.
3 months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't do the operations at that facility, but I can definitely check. I know there was an issue at the buildings back then. I remember authorizing new, they put in commercial dryers, one of those massive machines that you would have like in hotels in order to, I know they did the entire building. Bed bugs is a tricky one. That's a difficult one. You bring in some people, you know, people come in from homes, they've been living alone for a couple of years. Grandma didn't get visited at often. A lot of them bring their favorite lazy boy. Problem is you get one person in there and that could travel pretty quick. I know we do have pretty severe protocols. For bed bugs is not something we in any way take lightly. This is for us a very, let's just say something that gets acted upon very strongly. So if you have, I'm not sure what the detail is. I'll be happy to look into it.
It was just one of your reviews from Moraine Court, so.
Oh, yeah, public review, that could be, yeah. Yeah, those are definitely part of the congregate care living. It does happen on occasion. I guess it's how you handle it.
Okay. Very good.
If I may,
Sure.
is my mic on? I think so. If I may, just as it relates to the bed bugs allegations or complaints or what have you over at Moraine, what is the facilities, this current facility that you're talking about now, what is the plan for like routine exterminations? Do you guys have like a monthly extermination plan?
Absolutely, yeah. Twice,
How
every
does
2
that work?
weeks actually is a standard in all our buildings.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Every 2 weeks, we have exterminating come out. That's a standard. They hit the kitchen every time. They do any parts of the building, and then it's an as needed. So meaning they come out every 2 weeks, whether requested to or not. And then should there be an incident needing extra attention, a bed bug situation, a mouse sighting, a cockroach, I don't know. Cicada.
Nothing you can do
Well,
about those right now.
So, yeah, but that's definitely part of our routine operations, for sure.
Does the routine extermination include exterminations for bed bugs? Because I know that oftentimes it's like roaches and other bugs, but does it?
I don't think they treat bed bugs unless we tell them, hey, you got to
Okay.
go into a specific unit.
Okay.
So typically, they'll do the common areas, the kitchens, perimeters of the building, and they'll go into specific resident units on request.
Okay.
On that vein, how about the mattresses themselves?
That's a great one. I became a fan of giving away free mattresses. How do you like that? No, I'm saying that's a serious thing, because a new mattress is really only a couple $100, and deep bed bugifying a room, if that's a word, costs us at least $1,000. So that's a good investment all day. So that's something our moving coordinators know about, and they keep a sharp eye on what kind of furniture is coming in. And if and when needed, we do offer free exchange.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the board? Go ahead, man.
You stated that the nursing staff to resident is about 10 to 1.
Mhm.
Are they RNs or BSN?
Oh, good question. They're CNAs, RNs, and LPNs, depending on the duties. Typically, the director of nursing will be a registered nurse, RN level. The med management has to be either an RN or LPN. And then a lot of the ADLs, activities of daily living, that'll be a CNA level, certified nurse's aide.
So is that included in the 10 to 1?
Yes, absolutely.
So as far as registered nurses or LPNs?
Oh, correct. Registered, there's only 1 or 2 per building. Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We typically will have 1 or 2 RNs. We'll have 4.
It's a big difference than 1 to 10.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm saying, we're not operating a nursing home so much as we're operating, it's a senior living building with added services and standby care. So, yeah,
Thank you.
of course.
Thanks, Nance. If there's any other questions, we can call the roll unless there's anything that you feel you wanted to add. Nope.
It was nice having the band there. That was fun to see some of the families. And like I said, I was out here in Tinley a little over 20 years ago at this building for 1 year. and it's good to be back, and I think you guys have a great, well, you know, the village here, it's really pro-business, pro-everything, pro-families, the parks, you know, it's just nice and clean. I enjoy it. So I'm happy to operate here, and it's good to have a business here. Thanks for the time considering our project.
Thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it.
Madam Clerk, you please call the roll for item number 8.
Roll call for item 8, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
The motion carries. Thanks for coming in, so everyone has a chance to ask your
Thank you.
questions about cicadas.
Anything else for me in the future? We'll send you the invite
Just to
for
go
the open
home.
house.
Thanks.
I want to take a
Thank you.
tour when it's all done.
Yes, looking forward.
Have a good night.
Thank
Drive safe.
you.
I'd like to take a tour, but I think they'll keep them.
Item number 9, trustee Mahoney.
Would.
Can I?
Thank you, Mr.
can I
Mayor.
make a quick comment on
Yeah,
this?
go ahead.
The petitioner did reach out to me and let me know he wasn't gonna be here today, and he preferred this get continued to the next meeting, but that is up to you.
Is that 18th? Yeah.
Yeah, the 18th, so
So
the next two items.
Can I have a motion?
But that's up to you.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one we just passed.
No. No, it's not.
No, I would.
Motion to
Hang on.
Okay.
I can do a different sheet.
All right, so what's the,
It's for the.
I mean, you can discuss them. Well, I guess you can do a consolidated motion, but then you'd have to do a motion.
Do we have questions for
Can-
Are there questions for
Can I have a motion for number 9, item number 9 to table until June 18th?
I'll make a motion
I'll
to table item 9 to June 18th.
Thank you, sir.
Regular board meeting.
Thank you. Bill Brady?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Roll call for item 9, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mike, can you do the same for item 10?
I'd like to make a motion to table item 10 to the June 18th regular village board meeting.
I will second that one as well.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
I'm writing as fast as I can, I apologize. Roll call for item 10, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 11, trustee Dennis Mahoney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move we consider adopting ordinance 2024-0-031, granting variation for an accessory structure addition in a front yard to the Boat House by Banging Gavel Brews at 6811 Hickory Street.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The petitioner is requesting a variation to an accessory structure in the front yard in the Legacy Downtown Court zoning district. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on May 16th of 2024 and voted 5-0 to recommend approval of the requested variation in accordance with the plans, recommended conditions, and findings of fact listed in the staff report. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Jim, I thought you were done with coming back to the board.
Do you have any questions for me?
I personally don't. I think everyone on this board knows the blood, sweat, and tears that you've put into that building. We support you 110%.
Thank you.
Is there,
New name for the bar.
trustee Shaw, you have any comments?
I only have one, and that is, Jim, you don't have to come up.
He should,
Okay.
unless it's just a comment.
It's really a comment. and it's mostly in just, when this came through the Plan Commission a long time ago, and we saw the plans for this, I kind of felt like he should have done this in the first place. So I'm really happy to see it coming around.
Tell them how to do it.
Longest I told you so I've ever seen.
Yeah. Told you so, Jim.
No, I told you
So,
both allowed.
but very pleased. I think it's a really nice design.
Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
I told you didn't have to get up.
If anyone else doesn't have any I told you so's, please call the roll.
I haven't voted yet.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 11, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes,
Thought
definitely.
you were gonna, okay, I told you so. Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Sorry it took so long to get to you.
It was entertaining.
Motion carries. Item 12, trustee Mahoney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move we consider ordinance 2024-0-032, annexing the property at 17811 Ridgeland Avenue to the Village of Tinley Park.
Second it.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Might botch his name up a little bit. The property owner of Hikem Hamid requests annexation of
Hey,
the.
Dennis, we'll
Yes.
help you say it.
That's what I was gonna say
Hey,
next.
repeat that.
Yeah, thank you. Request the annexation of the property into the Village of Tinley Park. The vacant parcel is surrounded by the village and will be annexed under the R1 zoning district by default. The intent to construct a detached, single-family home on the lot in the future. The annexation was reviewed by the planning and engineering staff. If approved, the ordinance will be drafted and annexation is approved to go into effect on June 18th of 2024. This ordinance is eligible for first reading.
Thank you, Dennis. Is there any questions from the board?
Procedurally, we can't make a motion to skip first reading? We can?
Is there any,
Have the ordinance in it though? I don't even know if it was drafted.
Oh.
Sorry?
I said, I don't know if the ordinance was drafted with this yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the
Never mind
ordinance
then.
was drafted, then,
I'm trying to
then
save
no.
the trip back, but
any questions for Hisham? Like, close? Did I get it?
Yes,
Okay.
I just would like to comment, there's no I told you so here or anything. I think this is wonderful. I think a lot of these little pocket parcels that we have around town, I like to see them come in. So this is good.
Thank you. Everyone yay?
Yay.
Yay.
Any nays? Nays have it. Thank you. We'll, it'll be on the June 18th meeting for final adoption.
We'll be in contact with you. I
Item
don't think
13.
you'll probably have to attend, but
Trustee
we'll
Shaw.
follow up with you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
y'all good?
I'd like to make a motion that we consider adopting ordinance 2024-0-33, providing for the issuance of not to exceed $53 million general obligation bonds of the Village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois, for the purpose of financing certain capital improvements within said village, providing for the levy of a direct annual tax sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Go ahead.
This parameters ordinance provides the village the ability to authorize the sale of bonds at a future date, as long as certain parameters are met. This includes maximum amount, interest rate, maturity date, etc. Staff recommends approval of the parameters ordinance for the 2024 bond issue for the purpose of expanding and replacing water, sewer, drainage, and other infrastructure in the Village of Tinley Park. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting held on May 21st, 2024. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Is there any questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, I'll just make a comment just because it wasn't in the discussion that with the issuance of this $53 million worth of general obligation bonds, none of this will be passed on to the tax levy. And that's by our own village ordinance. So I think it's very important that the village, everyone in the village understands that.
Yeah, I think we set it up, the policy is $350,000 max is all that can go towards
Yep.
the levy. So, zero. Thanks, Mike, great point.
Yeah, thanks. That's literally the exact point I was going to make. And
so.
so I'm going to say it again, just because it's so darn important. It cannot, we do not want it to be misunderstood that this is going to get passed directly on to taxpayers. It's not.
Thanks. Ken, thanks, Mike. Any other questions? Comments? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 13, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item 14, trustee Mueller.
Move we consider adopting resolution 2024-R-067, approving a contract between the Village of Tinley Park and PT Farrell Construction for Harmony Square infrastructure improvements, roadway utility, and street lighting.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
Please consider approving a contract with PT Farrell Construction in the amount of $4,664,717.15. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting held just prior to this meeting and it is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you. Any comments from the board?
Happy to see this keep moving along.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 14, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have item 15. Trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting resolution 2024-R-069, approving a contract between the Village of Tinley Park and R.C. Wegman for Harmony Square, their bid package number 2.
I'll second it.
Go
Please
ahead.
consider approving an agreement with R.C. Wegman in the GMP amount of $24,557,449. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole held just prior to this meeting and is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thanks, Mike. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 15, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item number 16, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting resolution number 2024-R-071, approving an agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and ComEd for helipad improvements, conversion of overhead power lines to underground.
I'll second that.
Go ahead, Mike.
Please help me move these power lines underground by approving an agreement with ComEd in the amount of $147,409.12. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole just prior to this meeting and is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 16, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item 17, trustee Michael Mueller.
I move we consider adopting resolution 2024-R-068, approving a contract between the Village of Tinley Park and Davis Concrete Construction Company for the 2024 sidewalk, flat work, and curb program.
I'll second it.
Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you. Consider approving a contract with Davis Concrete Construction Company in the amount of $200,000. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole, held previous to this meeting, and is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thanks, Mike. Any questions or comments from the board?
I just wanted to thank John for all his hard work on this one, so appreciate it, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Dan helped.
John or Dan?
What did Dan do?
Dan helps,
Dan
but
helped.
John.
Awesome. You're killing it, man. Just killing it.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 17, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item number 18, receive comments from staff. Anyone from staff have any comments? Pat's shaking his head no. Anyone over here have any comments? Nope. Item 19, receive comments from the board. Anyone from the board have any comments?
I do, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to let everybody know that on Saturday, my son got married at the Tinley Park Convention Center. Had his ceremony there and the reception, and just everything was first class. The convention center did a great job, great compliments on the food, the timing, the staff, the way it was set up. I recommend anybody to try the convention center if they're going to have a wedding there. It was just fabulous. Everything is 5-star all the way around.
Even the comedy?
especially the comedy.
Who'd you hire?
I saw Sinise was there, so I'm sure went really well.
Yes, it did.
Anyone else from the board have any comments?
I will.
Go ahead, Colleen.
I'll take Donna's role here today. We got lots of fun coming up. So we have the L Trail Trolley that starts tomorrow. If anyone hasn't done that, I did it a couple times last year. Had a great time. A group of friends went. Starts off at, well, wherever you want to start, but Sip and Banging Gavel. Then it stops at Flipside, the Open Bottle, Hailstorm Brewing, Sound Growler, and Hillgrove Tap. And the times on that are from 5 to 10 p.m. And then we also have our first Music in the Plaza that is on Saturday, and the weather's looking good for that. Not like tonight's car show that got canceled, but the first Music in the Plaza is Radio Gaga, which is a Lady Gaga and Queen type band. So, so I'm looking forward. I haven't never seen this band before. I go to almost every Music in the Plaza and other events around, and so I'm looking forward to checking that one out. I think that's all we got this week. Oh, and we always have our farmers market on Saturdays in the morning till, I don't know, noon, very early till about noon.
Or Saturday.
8 to 12:30. Thank you, Nancy. So that's all I got.
Thank you, Colleen.
You're welcome. Oh, it's storming.
Anyone else on the right?
We missed our dry window.
Sorry about
No?
No.
I just want to add, we luckily have our Rib Fest coming up again on July 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. I want to thank all our Unified Command and all the work they're doing with EventWiz on making sure this is another successful event. Look forward to that. That's coming up, and want to clear a couple things. It's unfortunate. You have a former board member that is making sure that everyone thinks that this is not free to residents. The Rib Fest is free to all Tinley Park residents on July 4th. And also I want to thank Tinley Park Progress. I missed this one. It was the May 17th front page article. If you didn't get it, you should go online and read it. It's all the details of the ARDC hearing. Board recommended Attorney Stephen Eberhardt be suspended and reprimanded. And one of the caveats of it, in order to get his license back, he would also have to pay back any sanctions that are levied against him. And I think there's roughly $30,000 levied against him in sanctions that is owed to Patrick Walsh. So great job, Patrick Walsh, getting sanctions. And thank you to the ARDC. Other than that, we have, look forward to the concerts, and Rib Fest is going to be a huge hit, so thanks to all our staff and Unified Command. That's it.
Mr. Mayor, could I have one more comment, please?
I guess.
Okay. Well, with my excitement about so much that went on this weekend at the convention center, I didn't want to overlook June 6th, the 80th anniversary of D-Day. We should certainly remember and not forget our greatest generation that assembled that day and started their march to end the tyranny that was going across Europe. So we want to thank the greatest generation on D-Day 80 years ago, June 6th.
Thank you, sir.
So I'll double down on Mr. Brady there, if I may, because he's usually one with good trivia there. Today is the 80th anniversary of the capture of the U-505 German submarine, which is at the Museum of Science and Industry. It's the first time the United States had captured an intact vessel since 1815. So there you go.
By the good Irishman, Captain Gallery.
All right, you
Well,
won
now
up
that you're
me.
talking about
I thought I had him,
You
but
guys
you
should
know.
just keep doing this.
Last one. Now you're talking about anniversaries. I forgot, I should have thanked my wife, Christy, for our 30th wedding anniversary. So thank you, Christy. Appreciate everything that you've done for our family.
Well, I'd like to thank my wife. Tomorrow, we celebrate our 32nd wedding
Okay.
anniversary.
Item number 20, receive comments from the public. Anyone from the public care to comment? Let the record reflect there are none. Item 21. Can I have a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the following? A, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. B, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired. And C, the setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Roll call for item 21, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Brennan?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. We will not be returning after executive session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.